Hello and welcome to another episode of Can I Make 20%? It seems to be the only content I'm making, but this one's going to be more of an educational one because I'm going to go through 3 techniques that I use when buying. Let's get into it. So unfortunately for this one, they haven't really given me an invoice like a proper one. They've just given me a packing note and the individual hammer price. So I've written down what they are. I bought 3 separate lots. So one is your typical stuff in a basket. You know, I've got to sort through it. There's not much to sort through, but it come in a binder. The binder will go down the auction house. Quite a nice binder actually. That's more based on the silver content. I had 2 predominantly USA lots. One is based on the semi-Numi side of it, so I'm going to do the silver content side, the semi-Numi side, and then I'm going to do the numismatic side because I've got some absolutely glorious USA $half, $quarter coming as well. So I'm then going to run for the price. So at $9.30.90, which is what I paid, I'm going to need a total of, I should know this, 20% is what, 180. So what's that, 1100? I'll just double check it. All right, 930 times 1.2. 1116. Okay, I'll take it. So I'm going to scribble it down on my piece of paper as I go along. Let's get into it. Now, I'm going to do this lot first, I think. Usually I take stuff out of the basket. And also, as a caveat, this coin here come in an individual lot. The reason I'm going to add it onto this is purely for when I'm selling it. However, this was not on, but I'm not going to include it in a financial tally. It's purely so I can bag it with the right group. I bought another lot for 52. I didn't make any money on that lot. I think I'm going to lose about £4 or £5 on it. I kind of got one of the coins wrong, so that's on me. I would have put it onto this, but there was probably about 40 crowns, and I didn't think it would make for good viewing, so that's why it's not on this one. But I will make a loss on it, which is fine. It's part and parcel of what I do. So yeah, let's go through this. So I paid a collection of USA silver dollars. There was 8 plus a small range of GB crowns. Now the crowns you will see here. These are obviously non-silver. There was also this on there. Peruvian Sol 1934, 50% coin. This one is really nice. You can see the lines there. It's a solid coin. This side, I've seen better, but this is good. So in terms of pricing, you're probably looking at, for the 8 of these, I will go through them. There's nothing particularly special. There's nothing that's worth pulling out or grading or key dates. Just solid silver dollars. Now, I'm debating selling these or not. I'm undecided because I need to get money in the coffers. I guess it really depends on how much I can make elsewhere. So if I sell the other lot first, if I can get this in for a really cheap price, I don't mind bumping that profit for when I do eventually sell. If I do sell, I might not sell. I've got that project going on, and that's perfectly fine. So with this technique, basically, I'm just trying to get it under the price that I know it sells for. They're relatively common coins. I will see them fairly often. This coin, I had 40 to 50 in my head. I think it's a £40 coin myself. There'll be people like, oh, it's a little over spot. These command a premium. They're very collectible. These coins here, you're probably looking at 35 a coin. So you got 8 of them. Make a little note. So 8 times 35. You're on 280. Plus 40. I'm not including the crowns. They will be a free carry. So this lot here, relatively simple lot. I'm in it for 285 and change. it's worth about 320, give or take. So not a lot of money in doing it this way. Like, I've noticed that when I do trade like this, the margins tend to be minimal. There's probably just over 10% on that one. I've been trying to do less of these trades because I'm trying to increase the margin, which, because I'm under the VAT threshold, it's something that I've got to be careful about. And I don't want to go over it because it's not even about tax. It's not even an ideological argument for myself. It's more the paperwork, and it does me every time. It just genuinely stresses me out. Right, so I'm going to save the best to last. I'm going to put these to one side. I will have a think about if I sell these. They might just go in my pot. Now let's go through this. I'm going to quickly take, instead of the copper coins, I'm going to take out the crowns. So these are, you know, they're not really worth that much money. Some of these are nice though. £25p face. So it's 5, 10, £2.50. Fantastic. I'm not going to include that in the tally though. For some reason I just don't. There's certain things I do and there's certain things I don't. So let's take the silver out. I can actually go through it fairly decently. I sold one of these recently for 40. I thought it was worth more than that, but the gentleman who bought it, he sometimes sends me links for cheap things, and I think goodwill goes a long way. £2 coin. Take that. He did make an offer on 4 coins, but I thought it was an atrocious offer. I just went, no, that ain't happening. I don't think it was much above spot, and I just went, that's an insane offer. Silver. There is some pennies. Let's take out the very little copper there is. Oh, that's Australian. This is not even a coin. This can go straight into on the floor. I've got a little pot for it. I just missed it. There's a Roman coin here. So if anyone has any knowledge about Roman coins, feel free to let me know. I'm pretty sure this is silver. In terms of the value, I don't know. I've got no idea on that. It's not a rabbit hole I'm interested in venturing down either. I do that. I get looking at a coin, and then before I know it, I'm researching the Spanish Civil War or something stupid. So let's refocus that. It happens more than I care to admit to. It's okay. We've all got to have interests. Right. Cartwheel. It's not the best example I've had, but 10, 15 quid in that, maybe. That's the type of thing I will tally. There's a handful of copper. We're not talking crazy amounts. I actually prefer the junkier lots, but I'm starting to learn that there's a fine line between acceptable level of junky. 10 cents. Take that. If it's too junky, you're kind of hurting yourself because of the postage costs, and some auctioneers won't send it. So I bought a lot literally yesterday, and the auctioneers turned around and said, well, we're not sending it. I'm just going to get them to re-auction it because, in all honesty, there's not a lot of money I've spent. I'm going to take a small haircut on it, and lesson learned. I find that frustrating, but equally, I now know not to use them. So it is a learning exercise. Right, I think that's all the copper. Nope, it's not. It's one more. So yeah, let's sort through this. So I knew there was about 6 crowns. No, I knew there was 6 crowns, and I knew there was this coin here. I think this is a delightful coin. But apart from that, I wasn't really sure on what else was in there. Well, I'm just going to have a sip of coffee. 1 moment. Yeah, I wasn't really too aware. Like, I looked at it and I thought, right, I don't know what's going on with the camera at the moment. That's a nice crown. That's a very nice crown. Is that a proof, you reckon? Look at that. I think that's a proof. Let me know your thoughts on that. I think that's a proof myself. If it is, happy days. It might just be well struck. So these are both 1887. Let's put them side to side. I'm not sure. Not sure on that one. So there's 2 crowns. 3 crowns. Let's try it that way. 4 crowns. This was the coin I was interested in. This might be worth a little bit more. I wouldn't say a crazy amount, maybe £50 on that. £5. Now, when I ask, is it a proof? The thing is, I do not have the numismatic knowledge as a coin dealer and being a generalist to say definitively if it is or isn't. And that might sound a bit strange considering I've been trading so long, but this is a relatively new arena for me. I am enjoying it though. It's come at a real shock. Okay, that's a 1951. That's not what we want, but there's still a bit of money in that. Right, so I'm going to put the non-silver on the right. 48, 62. So I don't know what of this is silver and what isn't. The photos weren't the best. I think that's professional speak for I took a punt. Cool, that's nice. Another crown. Do you think there was an 1887 set? I certainly need to start learning more and more about this. This is just getting that in that pot. Okay, another one of these. It's probably worth about £30. So these are non-silver. Silver. I think this was a set. Surely. So you got 1, 2, 3. Maybe you just collect that. I don't know. That'd be lightning striking twice, wouldn't it? hard to define the other day. Cool, bit of silver there. Also, I've really started to enjoy the longer format content. It's something I always shied away from in the past, because I said it in a prior video, I didn't think there'd be a want for it, silver. So I was genuinely quite shocked to see numbers of 500 viewers. I've always been stuck in my way about that. I always made content that I wanted to make, and whenever it felt like I was going away from that, I'd get a bit bored of it. 50p. I'd get a bit demotivated by doing it. Like I didn't come on YouTube to make money or to become this internet influencer, what they call it, these influencers, celebrities. That wasn't why I set up the channel. I just wanted to share my passion, and I just didn't think people would gravitate towards the longer content format. But yeah, I'm certainly enjoying this way of doing it. Nice. Silver, non-silver. I actually won a lot of coins at auction today. It's spread over about 4 or 5 different auctions. Speaking of which, I'm going to quickly check that. So that's non-silver. I was bidding on, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've won bits from 5 different auctions. One of them, obviously, they've told me they won't send it. But there's some real variety in there. I like variety. There's a tiny bit of gold as well. I've won a tiny bit of gold. Slightly over spot, half sovereigns. These are going to be silver, just know it. Yeah. 4 pence. $19.50. 1951. Oh, there's some more copper that I missed. Okay, Cyprus. Oh, that's copper, but that's not going in the pot. That's there's got to be some numismatic value to that, because you do not see that coin all that often. 49. I know that's non-silver. 51. I see a V-nickel there. I'll tell you that. I've started to collect the V-nickels and the buffaloes. I enjoy them. I think they're really cool. Silver. I think this was a set. That's what my gut says. I could be wrong. Right. 48. So there's a fair amount of non-silver here. That's fine. I don't really tally that. It's just something that builds up, and then I'll try and sell it. Eventually, if it doesn't sell, I'll take it to a specialist currency dealer or the bank, depending on if the bank will take it or not. I could potentially auction it. This is silver, but I don't know what that is. I'm going to put that in my box of oddities. So we're probably down about a gram. You know, it's okay. 89. Maybe this gentleman just collected. Oh, I put that on the wrong pile. That goes over there. So that's the basket empty. There was also, I'm just going to put these in the, I need to sort these out. I'm slowly but surely building them up. So I've got one of these, Commonwealth Thistle. I got this wrong the other day. I described this as the Scottish Thistle. I totally forgot it was the Commonwealth. I got two of these. These are, they're probably worth £3 to £5. I've been selling them for free, but maybe I'm selling them slightly cheap considering they're mint. But let's call that £8 for argument's sake. Right. £10. This will go for a £5. I actually have a spare box. Yeah, I think that'll go for £5. I think this will go for, I'm going to say 15 postage, so call it 10. 15, 10. So we're at 25. For this batch, we need a total of 334 and 80. So 25. Take these off the table. Roman coin, I'm putting down a value of, I don't even know. I'm going to put that at 0. I don't know. It feels silver. I'm not going to include the 10 cents and the 20 cents Australian. £1. Plus 1. All right, let's get into it. So with this, I think you can kind of value this in a certain way. So looking at how many crowns there are. This, I'm really going to push hard to make good money on this, but I'm going to put a baseline price just for argument's sake, because when you're conservative, it's, if you're wrong on the upside. So looking at the crowns, I think you're going to average 40 on these. No, maybe not. I think some of them will go for 40. They're not the worst examples. I think this will go for good money. I think this will go for very good money. I wouldn't be shocked if this went for 100 plus. Let's call it 35. 35 a crown, including that one. So 35 times 6. All right, calc. Times 6. That's 210. With a potential on that, but I need to do some more digging. These I think will go for 30 quid a coin. They're very collectible. They're not dogs either. Worn, but they're not nasty. They're not anything you can complain about. So that's 270. Right, crowns plus 2. These are the 2 florins, I think. I think I called it 4 florins the other day. I don't know why. So let's put in 270. Yeah, I definitely think this is, that will go for good money. That I'm not sure it's not a proof either. I'm gonna get some expertise on it, but it's absolutely, it's a glorious coin. It might even be worth more. Who knows? Shame about this, but I don't think it's the end of the world considering the age and how good the rest of it is. Right, now for the silver. So this I'm going to separate from left to right. There is some nicer things. So as per usual, pre-20, pre-47. So I know exactly what that is. And then we're going to bag it up. Groat. The more we get on this side, the better. That's always the case. Slightly more money. 1887. I think there's a lot of 1887 bids. Maybe it came from a set, maybe it didn't. Like this is glorious. I'm not going to be selling this for a spot, not a chance. I will seek some opinions though. So this is worn, okay, fine. This, however, I'm going to put this in the corner. Maybe it wasn't a set because if you look at it, you can see signs of wear. If it was a set, logically speaking, there wouldn't be the wear on it. Now, I don't doubt some of these coins are worth more. It really depends on my numbers. It determines what I do. So occasionally I ping out stuff cheap purely because, well, I make enough money. It's not a problem. But just don't lowball me. Like if you lowball me, I'll get really hacked off with you very quickly. I don't mind being fair, but there's a fine line between being cheeky and, to be frank, being a knob. You know. It is what it is. You know, I'm not saying that to rag on anyone, but you just have to be careful in that regard. I always try and price it in a fair manner anyway. But that's probably worth a bit more. I'll put that to one side. So this stuff, is that worth more? Probably. We'll see, but for argument's sake, let's leave it at that. And then we've got this one coin here. So what I'll do is I'll bag it up and then I'll take off the value. So, and then we can move on to part 3 of the video. I will move this in the general direction of the camera. Right, let's put this down. So we've got 66 and 57. So pre-20, 66.57, and then I'm gonna quickly do this one, 13.7. Lost a lot of weight. .7. Okay, it's not a problem. And then we've got the pre-47. I wrote pre-27 on my page, I don't know why. .54 and 21. Right, so I'll quickly work this out. Let's get some bags. Oh, I'm out of bags, no. Right. So we've got 0.25. I just do not have, this is where I really struggle as a content creator. I just do not have the desire to learn how to just put the graphics up. I'm so stuck in my ways concerning that. And yes, that is on me, but equally, I don't think too many people mind. I hope not. I guess it tells in the viewing figures, but if I was any good at YouTube, I'd actually probably do the graphics in the corner. I'm like, oh, here's the numbers, but you're stuck with me doing it like this for now. 0.27. So it's 80.27 grams times 0.925. I've kept out those 2 coins on the side as well. So there's 74 and 24 on that. I don't think that's the worst amount. Right, do I have one more? Yeah, I've got one more bag, just. So 500. So we've got 54 and 21. So 27 and 10. Right, let's quickly work out that coin that wasn't meant to be on this lot, just for the balance of fairness. So 13.7 times 0.925, 16. So spot is currently 1.3. So that coin's worth 16.47. Right. 27 and 10. We will have a number sooner rather than later. Times 1.3. I actually think silver's going to drift up slightly. We shall see. So 66.57 times 1.3. Right, so that's them bagged. Now, for the case of these, what am I going to value them at? In truth, I don't know. I'll need to have a look. Let's pencil it in for 20. I think they could be worth more, but I'm genuinely not sure. So nice coins. Okay, so we've got fact packet calcs. We've got 26 plus 270. Although I reckon that 1887. I reckon this will blow it out the water. I genuinely think that's a £100 plus coin, but I need to do some digging and I need to speak to a few people because I'm still learning this part of the market and I'm not in the business of ripping people off. So, right, 26, 270 with a kicker, 86.54, 35.23 and 20. So let's tally that. I've taken off the 1 coin. So 26 plus 270 plus 86.54 plus 35.23 plus 20. That gives us a tally of 437.77. It owes us 334, so I reckon there's going to be £500 in that myself. I think once I've gone through it and I've sold the nicer bits, I think we're looking at about 500. But let's keep it at 4,377. 43777. Yeah, that's fine. Right, if you've managed to survive this long, you're in for a real treat. These are USA coins. We've got a USA $50. I'm contemplating grading this. So I'm actually in the USA lot for 272 and 0.8. I think this lot is worth a hell of a lot more. I don't have an individual breakdown, but I will show you the coins. I did speak to my American guy. I'm contemplating grading this one as well. I spoke to my American guy about this and he's given me a figure. It wasn't too dissimilar to what I would have put. I will go with the lower price in terms of the valuation. That's another two. These are fantastic coins. Like, these are proper numismatic coins as well. The premium you're going to pay on these is going to be far substantial over what the silver price is. I think these are wonderful. So there's two of them. Now this coin will surprise you because most people wouldn't have seen one of these. V-nickel. This coin here. This is probably worth 30 quid maybe. It's not worth grading, but it's certainly a coin that is desirable. You won't see many of them. I've never had the 4 cents either. Oh, there you go. That's what someone paid for it. So it's not too dissimilar to what I was thinking. I hadn't noticed that. All right, let's zoom out. And last but not least, this is stunning. This is a great coin. This will be going for grading. Now, I don't know how it will stack up in terms of the American market myself. I don't know how many are being graded. I probably should have checked it prior. I've had a lot going on, but I can check it afterwards, although it doesn't help for the viewership. You can check the census report. So you just go on NGC or PCGS, depending on what your flavor is. Or if you want to do both, that's also fine. And you just check out the year and the coin. I think this is a great coin. Now, in terms of valuation, I actually think that these coins here are worth about £500 myself. I'm gonna have to find a proper collector for these. When I spoke to my American guy, I say American, he's not American, he specializes in American coins. He's one of the most knowledgeable people I know concerning American coins. He put a value of 450 plus. So what I'm going to do for the balance of argument is I'm going to put a value of 400 in and be conservative on it. Anyone who watches my channel knows I like to be conservative. So American lot. And when I say I think it's worth 500 plus, I think this is worth the bulk of it. I'm not convinced I'll sell this. I don't know. We'll find out, but I've been after one of these for a while. I thought it came in very cheap. But yeah, I was really happy to win this lot, especially for the price it came in. But this is a numismatic play. So to go through the 3 plays, you've got the semi-numi play with the American dollars and the Peruvian sol. You know, that's when I'm buying those coins, I'm trying to see if I can get a coin for free. You know, can I pick up one for free? Well, the sol is the free coin. You've got the job lotting, which it can it can go the other way with that. It really depends what comes in, but every once in a while you get some beautiful coins in there worth a substantial amount more than what you think they're worth. Like I said, I've put the 1887 in for the lower end, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's worth £100. And then you get the numismatic play, and this is where you have to know your stuff and you have to be patient. You have to sit on these coins. Maybe due to the platform I have, I move them quicker than they probably would go otherwise. But some of these coins are fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Fantastic coins. These, okay, and it's a solid collector coin. But in terms of the 400 on that, so my fag packet calculations are, so we got 800, 1100 and 57.77. I've paid 930.9. So to work out the percentage on that, we've got to do it. I always confuse this, by the way. I think it's 1157 divided 57.77 divided by 930.9. 24%. So 24.3%. However, I'm going to give you a second number because this is conservative. I think you could put 500 on that, and I think you could put another 100 on this one. So you're looking at 500, 500, 320. So 1320. Let's work out the potential on 1320. Right, 1320 divided by, what was it, 930 and change. 0.9. And that will bring you up to 41.7. So I think if you're looking to buy at auction, you should certainly be looking at all three routes. Or maybe just buy what you like. But if you're doing it to make money, there's certainly strategic plays you need to make. So if I want quick money in, or I don't have much cash flow and I have to move something very quickly, these are not the types of coins I'm going to be buying, because I know that if I can't sell them quickly and I have to have a cash call, I'm taking a haircut on them. If I have too much cash flow, and that happens, not often, but it does happen, then this is the type of coinage that I love to buy, and if I can get it in for the price point needed, because the longer you can hold to find the right buyer, the more chances you're going to improve the margin. And for those of you who've watched my videos for a long time, the longer you hold something, the more the margin has to be. So if I'm holding something and it's going to take me a year, ideally, I want the margin to be quite beefy. If the coins come and go relatively quickly, 10% is fine on silver. It's not a problem. Now, I've been making more recently because of how I've been buying, but I don't have a problem with the 10% mark. It really depends on the type of silver, but usually the percentage that I try and make is dependent upon how quickly I can move it. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's been another very long one. For those of you who've stayed, I do appreciate it. I've got to probably pay a load of auctioneers now. That's going to be fun. So there should be content over the next week or so. I do want to make a video about taxes. There is going to be Die of a Gold coin dealer, although I probably should change that because I don't really sell much gold at the moment. Let's see if I won any other lots, because I was bidding on a lot. Right, sweet. It's 1, it's 2, that's 3. Okay. I won 3 gold lots. How much much did I pay for that? Oh, I'll tell you that. That's a few quid. Fantastic. Yeah, there's going to be more to come. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video and take care. Bye.